How you doing, Duff here? You may notice that there hasn't been a lot of 3D printing content on the channel, and actually not a whole lot of content at all lately because of us dealing with Hurricane Irma. It was pretty much a direct hit where I live, and we lost power for 9 days. We've had some roof damage, not horrible roof damage, lost some shingles and stuff. So there's been lots of things keeping me busy. I really haven't had much time to mess with my 3D printers or anything else hobby related, really, for a couple weeks at least. Actually, this is my third week. But I did start printing up some stuff a couple days ago, and I haven't really given any updates since I installed my EasyAble leveling kit. And what else did I do then? Oh, and the upgraded CR-10 board that has the bootloader and the Marlin software and all that kind of stuff. So, anyways, my my review of the leveling kit has been good. My prints have been good. They weren't horrible before, but they've been good with the leveling kit installed. I have had a couple issues since I started printing again, since the long power outage, and I don't think it's related to the power outage, but it's just these things have popped up. One of the problems I have is these knobs, especially the knob that's in the back corner where the heated bed strain relief is located. It keeps coming loose. So like one time it actually managed to spin itself all the way off, and several times I've seen it and it's been down to like this last thread. Evidently, for some reason, the vibrations of the print process have been spinning that knob. The other ones stay in place, but that one keeps working itself loose. And then the end result, of course, is that the bed has a tilt to it, and it seems that even with the EasyAble, the prints weren't good. So, but after fighting with it a little bit, I just re-leveled the bed manually, and it seemed to be printing okay. I did like a 18-hour print job successfully. But then I started having a different issue. Oh, and actually, just stepping back to that, one thing that I do want to do is Tim Hoagland, who I bought the EasyAble kit from. He also sells solid mounts for the CR-10 bed for people that have the auto leveling hardware installed that removes these springs, because once you have the leveling kit, you shouldn't really have to be, tweaking your bed. So you put these solid mounts in, cinch it up tight, and you shouldn't have to touch it again. So he sells those kits. Unfortunately, as of yesterday, he was sold out. I'll put a link in the description below so you can look and see when they're back in stock. But I think that will be a worthwhile investment for me, so I don't have to mess around with the knobs at all anymore. So anyways, but the problem that I had last night was I started to print, and I noticed that it looked weird. The first couple layers there was visible lines between the layers. I'm like, that's weird. It doesn't normally look like that. And I let it go for a little while, and then I finally stopped it when I came in to the office, and I saw that the Bowden tube, the Bowden tube was popped out, and I had like 3 feet of filament here, just like circling, and the tube was popped out. I'm like, well, why the hell is that? So I was able to actually, without stopping the print, I was able to feed back the filament and push the tube back in, and I watched it for a little bit, and within a minute it popped out again. I'm like, well, what the hell is going on? So finally I just stopped the print, and I said, hell with it. And I took the tube out again to see what was going on, and I was trying to feed filament through, and I noticed that it seemed like it was getting stuck. And I'm like, okay, well, why would it be getting stuck? So I took the filament out of the hot end as well, or I took the Bowden tube out of the hot end as well and pulled it out. And you probably can't see this, but right here, there's an area where the tube was like, I guess, melted. It almost looks like it was melted and squeezed. And this area was probably, I don't know, an inch or an inch and a half above the hot end. That's where this happened. And it's really strange. I'm not sure why that would happen. you know, because I wouldn't expect, if there's going to be heat damage, I would think it would be down here in the area of the Bowden tube that is around the hot end, but it wasn't. It was up above. So that was a real head scratcher. But what was happening was the filament was unable to go through this part here because it's shrunk. You know, it's melted and shrunk, so that the filament could not go through, which again was just weird because I had just gotten done doing a long print, and I'm not sure why it would have started to deform after that. So anyways, I thought that was weird, but I did have a replacement Bowden tube, a silicone tube, supposedly a good one that I actually bought just when I got the printer. So I figured, okay, well, here's a good opportunity to put that in. So I removed the Bowden tube, removed it from the hot end, which I thought was a little challenging, more challenging than I expected. I've never done it before. Like, I thought that I would be able to just push down this clamp, or this what do you call it, a collet fitting, I guess. Push it down and pull the tube out. Well, I couldn't do it. It would not release. I had to actually unscrew this all the way, the threaded portion that the tube goes into, to get the tube out eventually. So I did that. I put my new tube in, cut it to length, put my new tube in, taped it up, ran the re-leveled the bed, and I reloaded filament and started another print. And it looked okay in the beginning, but then again I noticed that the print quality was getting worse and worse. It was the filament lines were looking very thin, like it was under extruding, and again I had to stop it. And this time I figured, okay, I brought the hot end up to temperature. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to pull out the filament and see what's going on. So I have the hot end up to 210, and I'm trying to pull out the filament. It won't go. It is locked in place. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I mean, I cut it, I had pliers on it, it would not release. So I'm like, this is brand new tubing. I mean, how could it be messed up? And it seems like what I did, in retrospect, after taking it apart again, I had to unscrew the threaded brass portion at the hot end. I pulled it out, and at the end of the Bowden tube was like almost like a mushroom of melted filament that had hardened. So it almost was like a cap that I couldn't pull back through the tube. And I posted something on the Creality forums about it to see if anyone if anyone knew how far you're supposed to push the Bowden tube into that hot end. And because what my theory is when I put it in, I didn't push it down all the way, so that left a gap where melted filament could kind of pool and create that problem. So anyways, what I did to try to resolve it, which I haven't fully tested yet, was again I turned the printer back on, I removed all the filament that I had in the tube, and I used I brought the hot end up to like 250, like really hot, and I used this tool here that this came actually with my FlashForge Finder, which is used to unclog the hot ends on a finder. But I brought it up to temperature, and then I just kept shoving down into the hole from above, trying to make sure that I got out as much plastic as I could. Unfortunately, I don't know how to ensure that you get it all out. I'm hoping I did. But I'm going to do a test here in a second and see what happens. So that's what I did. I pushed out as much as I could, put the tube back in, I reloaded filament, and then I had to leave for work, so I didn't have time to do a full test. So we're going to do that now. Now I have to tell you, when I first got the CR-10 and people were talking about the OctoPi and building an OctoPi, and at first glance I'm like, it seems like a pain in the ass to do it. I didn't know if it was worth it. But now that I've done it, that I built an OctoPi, it's so much better. It wasn't hard. The cost in parts was probably $50 or less, and it just makes controlling the printer much more doable and functional, and just it's better all the way around. So if you're considering getting an OctoPi for your CR-10, building one, I would highly recommend you do it. I just have a cheap Chromebook here that I use to do some controlling while I'm in here in the hobby room. I also sometimes will run it from my workstation out in the office, and it's great. I love this thing. Very well done. I have a webcam hooked up to it, Logitech C920, I think. So it automatically generates time lapses. All right, so I'm gonna try to do this print that I've been trying to finish, and I'm gonna just start the bed preheating because that takes forever, and I'll be back. Yeah, it seems like my bed definitely has some unevenness to it, because on the corners I was getting drag with the paper, but the middle I was not. So, and you might see, you probably can't see, but I actually I got sick of trying to remember which direction I turn the knobs to decrease or increase the distance. So I put less and more. If I turn to the left, I have less gap. If I turn to the right, I have more gap. So if you're old and dumb like me, that's one way to circumvent that. Okay, bed's heating up. I see. Okay, bed's at 52 degrees. So I'm going to start the print job now. So it'll go through the leveling routine, and then it'll just wait for the heating to complete for both the bed and the hot end. So you can see what this leveling routine looks like, what it does. First does a XY home. It's going down with the sensor to detect proximity on the Z. Should see it light up for a second. There you go. So now I should go to it does a 9-point check. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then the way it's supposed to work is it takes those values that it gets and automatically compensates for any unevenness in the bed. So if the bed is down in a certain spot, the head will actually come down slightly lower when printing to adjust for that. At least that's the theory as I understand it. There's its last, I think that's its last measurement point. So then what it does is it comes up and it parks itself up here and just waits for everything to get up to temperature. And then the print should start. Alright, I got my little needle nose, going to try to grab the blob, which should be in the end. I really hope I got these feeding problems handled, because I was getting a little frustrated. She Elsa's frustrated too, so she's squeaking her football. You're squeaking it, good girl. It's weird. I noticed with this since I replaced the system board, when it brings the nozzle, the hot end, up to temperature, it brings up the temperature, then it backs it down like 5 degrees, and then brings it back up. I'm not sure what the reason is behind that, but I have noticed that with the CR-10 replacement system board. Okay. Got the little nodule. Let's see what happens. So I have a brim on here. I'm just praying it doesn't jam. But I'm still not sure that the flow rate is what it should be. And when it started to jam, you could actually hear the extruder motor just kind of like skipping, and the filament itself just stopped. The filament spool stopped spinning. Come on, baby. Extrusion still does not look like it should. Let's see if I can get closer here. It's too thin. Damn thing jammed again too. Hear that clicking? Freaking jammed again. Spool's no longer spinning. Frustrating. Okay, well, cancel the print again. Alright. Well, I love it when I don't fix problems. So, obviously I still have a flow issue going on. I'm not sure what the best way is to clean this thing. I wonder if it's, I wonder if I have another melted module or nodule here. Let's see. So I'm gonna set my nozzle temperature to 210 and try to pull the filament out. I just want this thing to work, man. I just want to print stuff. It's annoying. While we're waiting this to heat, you can see quickly my new setup here. Cindy asked if I could bring the Flash Forge finder in here as well, instead of utilizing a desk in the office, so she has a space to do her crafts, more space. So we're going to have the CR-10 living on the left and the Flash Forge finder on the right. We are now up to 209, so let's see if I can pull this thing out. Nope. Nope. Damn it. Alright, so my non-expert opinion is, again, this tube, the Bowden tube, isn't fully seated in the hot end. As a result, filament is pooling underneath it. But I mean, I don't know how to get all that. If there is a pool of filament under there, I'm not sure how to get it all out so it's clean again. So hopefully some of the people on the forum might be able to give me some feedback on that. So anyways, hopefully you found this interesting, and you have better luck than I currently have with my CR-10. So if you found this video helpful, humorous, entertaining, annoying, whatever, please take a moment to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And if you're not a subscriber, please take a moment to subscribe. I plan on doing more 3D printing content as I learn and pass things on that I learn to the community. So if you'd like to be part of that, please take a moment to subscribe. And that's it. Till next time. Duffman out.